Hello and welcome to Talklish channel, the podcast that gives you the tools and confidence to master the English language. I'm your host, Sarah.
And I'm Mark. It's great to be with you today. We have a really fundamental topic to discuss, one that lies at the very heart of language learning. We're talking about practice, specifically English speaking practice.
It sounds so simple, doesn't it? Everyone knows you need to practice to get better at something. If you want to play the guitar, you practice scales. If you want to run a marathon, you practice running. If you want to speak English, you need to, speak English.
But that's where things get complicated for so many learners. It's the biggest dilemma. I know I need to practice, but how? I don't live in an English-speaking country. I'm too shy to talk to native speakers. I'm afraid of making mistakes. I don't know what to talk about.
These are real and valid concerns. That feeling of being stuck is incredibly common. You can spend hours doing grammar exercises and memorizing vocabulary lists, but when it comes to actually opening your mouth and producing spontaneous speech, it feels like there's a wall you can't get over.
The good news is that this wall can be climbed, and today we're giving you the ladder. We're going to share a comprehensive, step-by-step guide to speaking practice. We've designed a 5-step journey that will take you from practicing safely by yourself to confidently engaging in real-world conversations.
This is going to be an incredibly practical episode. We'll give you specific techniques, exercises, and mindset shifts that you can start using today, no matter your level or where you live. This is your ultimate guide to effective speaking practice. So grab a notepad, get ready to take some notes, and let's begin with the very first and most accessible step on our journey. Step 1. Become your own conversation partner. Okay, let's dive right into our first step, which is become your own conversation partner. This is the foundation of everything. It's the safest, lowest pressure way to start building your speaking habit, and you can do it anytime, anywhere.
I absolutely love this as a starting point because it directly tackles the biggest fear, the fear of judgment. When you are your own partner, there's no one to laugh at your mistakes. There's no pressure to be perfect. It's just you and the language.
So what does this actually look like in practice? We're not talking about having full, complex debates with yourself in the mirror, although you can certainly work up to that. It starts much, much simpler. The first technique here is to narrate your life.
Narrate your life. What does that mean?
It means you become the commentator of your own movie. As you go about your day, you describe what you are doing, seeing, and thinking out loud in simple English sentences. It's all about connecting your actions directly to the English words for those actions.
Can you give us an example? Let's say you're in the kitchen in the morning.
Exactly. You could say out loud, okay, I am waking up. I'm walking to the kitchen. I feel a little tired today. I'm going to make some coffee. I'm opening the cupboard. I'm getting a mug. This is my favorite mug. Now I need the coffee. I'm putting coffee in the machine. I'm adding water. I'm pushing the button. Now I have to wait. What should I have for breakfast?
That is brilliant. A few things are happening there. First, you're practicing basic sentence structures in the present tense. Second, you are actively retrieving everyday vocabulary, cupboard, mug, coffee machine, button. Third, you're making it a habit to think in English, which is crucial for fluency.
It eliminates that slow,
painful process of translating in your head. You're not thinking in your native language, I am going to make coffee, and then translating it. You're just seeing the action and producing the English directly.
And you'll quickly discover gaps in your vocabulary. You might get to the part where you're using a kettle and realize, I don't know what that's called in English. So you look it up. And because you learned it in a real physical context, you're much more likely to remember it.
The second technique within this step is to ask and answer your own questions. Throughout the day, get curious. Ask yourself simple questions and then answer them out loud.
So, building on the morning routine example.
Right. You could ask yourself, what am I going to wear today? Well, it's cloudy outside, so I think I will wear a sweater. What do I have to do at work today? First, I have to answer my emails. Then I have a meeting at 10 a.m.
This takes the narration a step further because now you're practicing question formation and more complex sentence structures. You're using future tenses like I will wear, I am going to, and sequencing words like first, then.
A great way to structure this is to use your daily planner or to-do list as a prompt. Look at your list and talk about it. Okay, my first task is finish the report. What do I need to do to finish the report? I need to check the data and write the conclusion.
This is so powerful because it's not abstract practice. It's directly related to your real life, which makes the language more meaningful and memorable. You're not just practicing English, you're using English to organize your day.
The key to step 1 is consistency. Try to make it a habit. Maybe you can commit to narrating your morning routine every day for a week. That's just 5 minutes of speaking practice. Or you can talk to yourself during your commute to work.
It might feel strange at first, but it is the single best way to build a baseline of comfort with producing English sounds and sentences. You are building the muscle memory of speaking without any of the fear. It's the perfect private warm-up for the steps to come.
Step 2. Mimic the masters with shadowing.
Okay, once you've started to get comfortable with the sound of your own voice in English by being your own partner, it's time to refine that sound. This brings us to step 2. Mimic the masters with shadowing.
Shadowing is a technique that we've mentioned before on this podcast, but it's so incredibly powerful for speaking practice that it deserves its own dedicated step. It is the single best exercise for improving your pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation, what we call the music of English.
So let's define it again clearly. Shadowing is listening to a piece of English audio and speaking along with it at the exact same time, like a shadow follows a person. You're not listening and then repeating. You are speaking simultaneously with the recording.
Many learners find this very difficult at first, and that's normal. It feels like your mouth and brain can't keep up. The key is to start small and do it in stages. Let's break down the 3 levels of shadowing.
Level 1 is mumble shadowing. For this level, you don't even have to say real words. Choose a short audio clip, maybe 15 to 30 seconds from a podcast or an audiobook. Play it and just mumble along. The goal is simply to catch the rhythm, the stress, and the intonation. So you're not worried about pronouncing the words correctly. You're just trying to match the melody. If the speaker's voice goes up, your voice goes up. If they speak quickly on a certain phrase, you mumble quickly. It sounds like blah, 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 blah.
This might sound silly, but it's a phenomenal ear training exercise. You are tuning your ear to the stress-timed nature of English without the pressure of forming words. You're learning the music before you learn the lyrics. Do this with the same clip a few times until you feel you've caught the general flow.
Once you're comfortable with the music, you move to level 2, full shadowing. Now you use the same audio clip and you try to say the actual words along with the speaker. It will be messy. You will miss words. You will stumble. It does not matter.
The goal here is not perfection. The goal is to train your mouth. You are physically training your tongue, lips, and jaw to make the shapes and transitions of English speech at native speed. It's like a workout for your pronunciation muscles.
Let's imagine the audio says, "I'm going to go to the store later." A learner might say it word by word. I am going to go to the store later. But the native speaker in the audio says it smoothly. I'm going to go to the store later. By shadowing, you are forcing your mouth to practice that connected, reduced form.
After you've done this a few times, you can move to level 3, shadowing with a transcript. Now you read the text while you listen and speak. This is the magic level where everything connects.
You hear the linked sounds, you feel your mouth making them, and you see the words on the page that create them. You'll have aha moments. You'll see the words, "What are you?" on the page, but you'll hear and say, "Whatcha?" You'll see "kind of" written, but you'll hear and say, "kinda." This is where you truly internalize the rules of connected speech that make English sound so fast.
So, what kind of material should you use for shadowing?
It's best to use audio where the speaker is clear and not speaking too fast initially. TED Talks are fantastic because they are usually well enunciated and transcripts are readily available. Podcasts for learners, like this one, are also a great choice. Audiobooks are another excellent resource.
And you don't need to do this for hours. Just 5 to 10 minutes of focused shadowing a day will produce incredible results. It trains your ear to understand fast speech, and it trains your mouth to produce smoother, more natural-sounding speech. It's a 2-for-1 deal.
Exactly. Step 1 builds your confidence to speak. Step 2 refines the quality of that speech, making you sound clearer, more natural, and more professional. Step 3, the 5-minute topic challenge.
So far, we've talked about building the habit of speaking and refining the sounds you make. Now it's time to start putting it all together to talk about specific ideas. This brings us to step 3, the 5-minute topic challenge.
I love this technique. It's a bridge between the very simple self-talk of step 1 and having a full conversation with another person. It's a structured, solo speaking exercise that focuses on fluency and active recall of vocabulary and grammar.
So how does it work? It's very simple. You need 3 things: a way to choose a topic, a timer, your phone is perfect, and a way to record yourself. Again, your phone's voice memo app is all you need.
First, you need a topic. You can find lists of hundreds of conversation topics online by searching for ESL conversation questions or table topics. They can be simple, like, what's your favorite food? Or more complex, like, do you think technology makes people more isolated?
Let's say you choose the topic, describe your favorite holiday. Once you have your topic, you set a timer for 5 minutes, and then you hit record and you start speaking about that topic.
The rule is you have to speak for the entire 5 minutes without stopping. If you get stuck, you can't just give up. You have to use strategies to keep going.
You can use fillers like we've talked about before. Well, let me see. You can ask yourself questions to prompt more ideas. So, why was it my favorite holiday? What did I do there?
Let's do a mini example. My topic is describe your favorite city. I hit record.
Okay, so my favorite city. Um, I think my favorite city that I ever visited is probably Rome. I went there a few years ago, and it was just amazing. The thing I loved most was the history. You can just walk around, and everywhere you look, there's something thousands of years old. For example, we went to the Colosseum. It was, well, it's hard to describe, just so big and impressive. And I also loved the food. The pasta was incredible. Oh, and the gelato. I think I ate gelato 3 times a day. Let me think, what else did I like? I think the general atmosphere, the vibe of the city was really special.
And you would continue like that, exploring different ideas related to the topic until the 5 minutes are up. This exercise is powerful for several reasons. First, it builds your speaking stamina. Speaking for 5 minutes straight is a real workout.
Second, it forces you to access your vocabulary and grammar under a little bit of pressure. You don't have time to carefully plan every sentence. You have to retrieve words and structures quickly, which is exactly what you need to do in a real conversation.
But the most important part of this challenge happens after the 5 minutes are up. Now you listen back to your recording, and you listen with a specific mission. You become your own English teacher.
What are you listening for?
You can listen for many things. On your first listen, you could just focus on fluency. Were there any long, silent pauses where you got stuck? Why did you get stuck? Was it because you were missing a word? If so, look up that word and write it down.
On a second listen, you could focus on your grammar. Did you use the past tense correctly when talking about your trip? Did you notice any repeated mistakes?
On a third listen, you could focus on your vocabulary. Did you use a lot of simple words like good or nice? Could you replace them with more interesting words like incredible, fascinating, or delicious?
This process of speaking, recording, and analyzing is a feedback loop. You are identifying your own specific weaknesses. Then the final part of the challenge is to try it again. The next day, you can either do the same topic, trying to use the new words and correct your grammar, or you can pick a new topic.
The 5-minute topic challenge is an incredibly efficient way to practice. It combines fluency practice, active recall, and self-correction. It prepares you for the challenge of thinking on your feet and speaking for an extended period of time, which is essential for real conversations. Step 4. Practice with purpose in a language exchange. Okay, you've been talking to yourself, you've been shadowing, you've even been challenging yourself with 5-minute topics. You've built a strong foundation on your own. Now, it's time to bring another person into the mix. This brings us to step 4. Practice with purpose in a language exchange.
This is a huge step for many learners, but after the first 3 steps, you are much more prepared for it. A language exchange is a fantastic arrangement where you find a native English speaker who wants to learn your native language. You then meet up, either online or in person, and spend half the time speaking English and half the time speaking their target language. It's free, it's mutually beneficial, and it's real communication.
There are many great websites and apps to find language partners. You can try sites like Tandem, HelloTalk, or Speaky. The key is to find someone you feel comfortable with and who is as serious about learning as you are.
But here's the crucial part of this step, and it's in the title: practice with purpose. Many people go into a language exchange and just have a general chat. And while any speaking is good, if you want to improve quickly, you should go into each session with a specific goal. Don't just chat, have a structured practice session.
What does that look like? Let's say you've been working on your storytelling skills. Before your session, you could send your partner a message like, "Hey, for our English practice today, could we each tell a story about a funny childhood memory? I'm trying to practice my past tense and storytelling words like suddenly and in the end."
That is a game changer. Now it's not a scary, unpredictable conversation. It's a focused exercise. You can prepare some vocabulary beforehand. Your partner knows what to listen for and can give you much better feedback.
Let's give our listeners a few more ideas for practice with purpose. Role-playing. You could decide to role-play a specific situation. Let's pretend I'm at a restaurant and you're the waiter. Or let's pretend I'm calling customer service to complain about a product. This is amazing for learning situational vocabulary.
Discuss an article or video. You could both agree to read a short news article or watch a short YouTube video before you meet. Then your conversation is focused on discussing that topic. This gives you a shared context and lots of new vocabulary to use. For example, what did you think about the main arguments in that article? I see what you mean, but I disagree with this point.
Focus on a skill. You can dedicate a session to a specific conversational skill. Today, let's practice disagreeing politely. You can have a list of phrases like, "I see your point, but," or "I'm not so sure about that," and your goal is to use them during your conversation.
By structuring your practice this way, you turn your language exchange from a casual chat into a powerful learning laboratory. You are actively working on your weaknesses and building your skills in a controlled environment.
It also takes a lot of the pressure off. The goal isn't just to have a good conversation. The goal is to successfully practice a specific skill, which is much more manageable and less intimidating.
And remember to be a good partner, too. When it's your turn to help them with your native language, give them the same focused, helpful feedback that you would like to receive.
A language exchange with purpose is the perfect bridge between practicing alone and navigating the completely unpredictable conversations of the real world, which brings us to our final step. Step 5. Turn everyday life into a language gym.
You've made it to the final step of our guide. You're comfortable speaking on your own, you've refined your pronunciation, you can speak at length on a topic, and you've even practiced with a partner. Now it's time to put it all into practice in the real world. Step 5 is turn everyday life into a language gym.
This step is about a mindset shift. It's about seeing every small interaction in English, no matter how brief, as an opportunity to practice. It's about leaving the classroom and using your English for its real purpose, to live, to connect, and to get things done.
Even if you don't live in an English-speaking country, you can still find opportunities. You might interact with tourists, have English-speaking colleagues, or use English when you travel. This step is about maximizing those moments.
The first part of this is to prepare for specific interactions. Let's say you're going to a coffee shop where you know you'll have to order in English. Before you go, practice. Think about it. What am I going to say? Hello, can I please have a large latte with oat milk? What might they ask me? For here or to go? Would you like anything else? How will I answer? To go, please. No, that's all. Thank you.
This little 30-second rehearsal in your head makes a huge difference. You walk in feeling prepared and confident instead of anxious and flustered. You've turned a simple transaction into a successful speaking exercise.
The second part of this is to be an active listener. When the barista is talking to another customer, listen. How do they ask for the person's name? What phrases do they use? You're collecting real, authentic language that you can use later.
Another key technique is to challenge yourself with small expansions. Let's go back to the coffee shop. The easiest thing to say when they ask, "How are you today?" is just, "Good, thanks." But you can turn this into a micro practice session.
How so?
You could expand your answer slightly. Instead of "good, thanks," you could say, "I'm doing great, thank you, ready for a busy day." Or if they comment on the weather, "Yes, it's a beautiful day, isn't it?" Instead of just nodding, you can reply, "It really is. I'm hoping to go for a walk later."
This is brilliant. You're turning a simple, formulaic exchange into a tiny, real-world conversation. You're practicing forming a full sentence in a real-world, low-stakes situation. Each time you do this, you build a little more confidence.
The final part of turning life into a language gym is to learn from every interaction. Let's say you ask for directions and the person says something you don't understand. Don't just panic and walk away. This is a learning opportunity.
You can use a repair strategy. You can say, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again more slowly?" Or if they use a word you don't know, you can ask, "You said to turn left at the roundabout. What is a roundabout?"
This is how you learn in the wild. Every conversation, every question, every moment of confusion is a chance to learn a new word or a new phrase. The goal is not to have a perfect conversation. The goal is to communicate and to learn.
This mindset changes everything. A trip to the grocery store, asking a question in a shop, making a phone call, these are no longer scary challenges. They are reps in your language gym. And just like in a real gym, every rep makes you a little bit stronger. A gentle, short musical transition. Recap and conclusion.
And that's our 5-step guide to English speaking practice. We've taken a journey from the safety of your own mind all the way to the real world. Let's do a quick recap.
Step 1 was become your own conversation partner. Start by narrating your day and asking yourself questions to build the basic habit of speaking without fear.
Step 2 was mimic the masters with shadowing. Use this powerful technique to train your ear and your mouth, improving your pronunciation, rhythm, and flow to sound more natural.
Step 3 was the 5-minute topic challenge. Use this structured solo exercise to build your speaking stamina and your ability to retrieve vocabulary and grammar under pressure.
Step 4 was practice with purpose in a language exchange. Find a partner and have structured sessions with specific goals to work on your weaknesses in a controlled conversational environment.
And finally, step 5 was turn everyday life into a language gym. Adopt a new mindset where every small interaction becomes a valuable opportunity to practice, learn, and build real-world confidence.
These 5 steps are a complete system. They build on each other, taking you from a place of silence and fear to a place of confidence and communication. You don't have to do them all at once. Start with step 1. When you feel comfortable, add in step 2.
The most important thing is to start. The only way to get better at speaking is to speak. We hope this guide has shown you that there are many ways to do that, no matter your situation. You have the tools now.
Thank you so much for joining us today on this deep dive into speaking practice. We know you can do this.
We'll be back next time with another topic to help you on your English journey. Until then, be kind to yourself, be consistent, and happy speaking.